Alright everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So once again, we're going to be playing some catch-up with some Shonen Jump chapters this weekend. But we finally do have Spy Family and Goku Rakugai back after their kind of semi-long hiatuses. So I'm really looking forward to getting around to those two chapters this weekend. Apart from that, as usual, we're going to cover the latest two chapters of Akane-Banashi. We also got the latest chapter of Kaiju that also dropped. Along with that, I'm going to try to get around to a read-through of Battle Angel Alita as well. So a lot of good content coming your way this weekend. So if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I've mentioned before, March, April kind of tend to be the hardest times for me mental health-wise. So any kind of, show of support for these videos really does help me out a lot, really does mean a lot to me. So if you'd like to do that, that would be greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let us get into it with a milestone as Akane-Banashi has reached its 100th chapter. So really happy for this series. I really do hope it finds a lot of success. But yeah, let's get into it with Akane-Banashi chapter 100. And I love this goddamn color. We got two color spreads. We've got the colorized version of the last page, the double spread from last chapter. And then we got this fashion spread with like all the characters dressed up in like these suits and things. It's just absolutely gorgeous. I love it. This also feels like it might be a reference to Akira and something else, because you have like Akane-Banashi in like big bold black letters with like the red background and everything. So I have to look up exactly what this is a reference to, but it is just rock solid design. As you Christ. I guess I can't. I'm going to use that title for the last video anyway. With Story 100, the Rakugoverse. As you have a story by Yuki Suwanaga, art by Taka Masamoe, and Rakugo supervision by Keiki Hayashiya. With translation by Stephen Paul, lettering by Sneeron. And you see Akane kind of just going through, like walking through like the little Edo period she's imagined in her mind. With you have a Rin, it's like, it's Jugumu Goku no Suki, what is it, Surikurezu. You have Hirorin. It's like Pon Poki Pi, Pon Poko Na. And you have a shake and a whoa, something's like rustling around inside her for kimono. And she's like, oh, right. And she pulls out the Tanuki dice. It's like, I'm trying to make a killing with this little guy. She's like smiling and grinning and tossing the dice. It's like, better go find that dice game. And you have this random lady going, you there, when are you finally going to pay off that tab? It's like, yeah, I know, don't worry, I'll pay you back double this time. It's like, when he sees how many manju we've got, it's like, it'll be an assassination. I don't know what the pun is that they're going for there with that one. And you have, ora. You have this like taxi driver with the little cart driver like dragging along like the little cart, like the transportation of the vehicle, like the ones like the bike ones where people sit in the back and like you pull them along the carriages. It's like, so that's Yoshiwara back there, huh? It's like, I know, I'm not going there. As you see like the Tanuki still shaking. It's like, it's the sea's son of lethargy. It's like, that is indeed a Sango Jigo. And you see like these storks flying ahead as Akane goes like this rundown, like sketchy looking little house. And as she parts the curtains and goes, it's like, hey, what's with all the long faces, eh? It's like, you don't have a bookie? Fine, I'll be the bookmaker then. Place your bets with me. And she like rustles around inside the kimono's like, one condition. You gotta roll with this one. It's like, there ain't any trickery going on with this, is there? You see one of the gamblers like grabbing out to reach the dice. It's like, what? It's warm and twitching. This thing's disgusting. It's like, oh, it's just a little warm because it was in my pocket. Go on, give it a roll. It's like, well, fine. As the guy just tosses the dice. You have a, it's sliding along the ground. You see it just like zipping along the ground. It's like, this dang thing don't roll. And you see like Akane just like shaking with anger. It's like, hey, roll, damn you. It's like, what? It's like, what's going on? He's like, oh, nothing. Just a little issue with the die. It'll work now, so go and give it a toss. The guy's like, you sure? As he rolls it again. It's like, you're right. It rolled this time. He's like, wait, come back. And you see the dice just rolling out of the house full tilt. And Akane's chasing after with, how far are you going to roll? Someone catch that die. And you see her back in the little theater with the audience. And she's like, what's this feeling? He's like, aha, gotcha. It's like, I can see more than usual. It's like, think you got a little carried away there. Look, your tail's poking out. It's like, I'm sorry, I'll transform again. It's like, alright, good. 1, 2, 3. She claps it together and you see the tanuki just transforming into a little loaf. It's like, why'd you turn into a manju? It's like, I rolled a little too much and now I'm dizzy. And you have a, whoa! It's like, what's wrong? It's like, I got a manju stuck in my throat as a boy. Ever since then, I've been terrified of manju. I can't believe you really exist. And you see a reporter, bro. God, give me a second to figure out what his name was. Kashio going, hang on. This is scared of manju. And she's like, don't play with me now. It's like, I know, you want to die. It's like, 1, 2, 3. And you see as she claps the hands together, it transforms into a huge paper bill. It's like, oh, where did this huge paper bill come from? And you see Asagao thinking, and now it's tanuki money. And Akane is like, up until now, my entire Rakugo is based around how to fit within the lines. But you see her just like walking along like this little path, like this little glowing path in the darkness. It's like, but now that the world has expanded, I have room to play. I can do anything here in this Rakugo Zoo. It's like, that's just animals. Rakugo land, Rakugo sea? No! In the Rakugoverse, anything is possible! And you see Chocho just smiling, laughing with, boy, she's really charting her own path, huh? And Asagawa's like, at this point, I'd say she's off the path. It's like, but the crowd loves it. I got the perfect title for this video. They're enjoying her little improvisations. Plus, if you're going to have fun with it, you might as well go all the way. It's like, right. It's like, still, I didn't see her taking it this far. I gotta say, you're a lot like me, little lady. As the guy just like making all these weird faces and reactions. And Asagawa's like, I'll admit, I think she's doing great too, master. But it's too risky in a situation where her promotion is on the line. And the other party's a demon of the arts. This could backfire. I think that should be a this could backfire on her because it says translation has the could backfire on her. And you have a gak as he looks over at God, what was Grumpy Bro's name? Sorry, give me a second here. Tyson is just like smiling as he's watching the performance. And you have a gah, who knows? Maybe it'll snow today. And he said, knock, knock, no, pardon me. As one of the organizers, I think, comes in, and Asagawa's like, what is it? He's like, it's about the Zenza. There are only 2 minutes left in the time slot, but with all the ad-libs, the story doesn't seem close to ending. And today's the big debut, so I'd hate for time to go over and delay the schedule. And Asagawa's like, oh, that's all. It's like, no, wait. And Chocho's like, this could be trouble. I think I egged her on too much. She's way more into it than I expected. If I were in her position, I'd be going on and on endlessly. Asagawa's like, then you're saying it might ruin... He's like, who knows? It's like, it's up to Lady Luck. And he thinks back to Akane telling him, the most important thing is that this event is a success. And Asagawa's thinking, this is going to work out. Right, Akane? So yeah, I guess some more quick thoughts on this chapter. Again, I think I'm going to have to hold back like my complete like criticism of like the arc as a whole with how well it kind of did the setup and like the realization and stuff with the arc itself until I can read it all together and kind of have a more coherent, like well-rounded out thought. Apart from that, I did like how we kind of like did a dive into Akane's imagination, where she's kind of like imagining herself like living in the Edo period, like walking around the town, interacting with like different townspeople, like NPCs and things like that. All those kinds of things. I really do like that touch of it. I think it lends an air of realism. I think it kind of gives you an idea or impression of like how you're supposed to feel when watching a Rakugo performance that's really, really exceptional. Like how it's supposed to like pull you into the story and like make you immersed in the story that you're telling. And I think it's a smart choice to kind of have it done from Akane's point of view, where she's kind of like imagining like all the little like nuances and touches and like the world building she's doing for her, like for the story that she's telling to her audience. So I really do like those little touches about that. Apart from that, I also do like the little touches of how it's like the reporter's like, hang on, she's like, you know, she's pulling in like bits and elements from like other stories and incorporating it into the Tanuki Dice story. Because I think this again, this was like a really good tie back and call back to the previous chapter, where one of her friends like, oh, hey, how come all these characters like show up in different Rakugo stories, like different characters with like the same names and everything, and she's like, oh, they're all interconnected. I think this is like the good logical next step of Akane being like, well, if they're literally interconnected, there should be no problem with me filling in like self-referential like little references like to other stories and things into my own story, which very much feels like when like when Marvel or stuff does their own thing, they do like little Easter eggs and things to like other series and stuff like that. It feels very much like that. So I think that's a very good touch that was put into this story as well. I think the only thing that I don't really feel like, I feel like they should have had like upped the tension on a little bit, or at least kind of hinted at, was Akane kind of getting too much into her own performance, where she's like, oh, it's like this is my own little mini universe that I've been built in here, like, oh my god, it's like I can do anything in here now. Like how she's getting like a little bit too involved with the performance, she's kind of losing sight of the bigger picture. I think they should have built up like a little bit of dread with Asagao and Chocho's thing, where he's like, she's running over her time. What are we gonna do? Does she realize that? Things like that. So we'll see how that plays out. Because again, I think that's one of the other criticisms I've had of Akane for a while. Is like she really has never had a chance to fail at anything. Like she's never been set up for failure, or if she has, she finds some way to circumvent it. And this is one of the criticisms I've had of the series for a while. Is like she's never really faced a loss or had like any kind of real trouble, or gotten into any kind of real trouble that wasn't overcome relatively easily. So I'm wondering if they're gonna set up, because on the one hand I feel like that would be a vastly more interesting storytelling direction to go with Akane, where it's like, oh, she did experience like this massive growth in her storytelling capability in her professional career, but now she's also got like this one little like fatal flaw starting to build up, like it's going to start to hinder her performance as well, as she needs to overcome. I feel like that'd be vastly more interesting than being like, oh no, Akane's been on top of the ball this entire time, don't worry, she's got a plan and everything's going to work out perfectly. But it's too early to tell right now what's going to go with that. But yeah, I wish they just built, I feel like if they're going to build up that this was going to be a problem, I wish there'd been a little bit more sense of tension, sense of dread with that. But it's a minor complaint. Again, it was a rock solid chapter. Looking forward to where the next one is going from here. Especially with Tyson kind of like, appreciating their performance and all the little like nuances and things she's adding to it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. So with all that said, like I mentioned in the beginning, if you did like this video, if you like my content, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I said, it really does mean a lot to me. It really does inspire me and keep motivating me to keep making these kinds of videos. So if you like it, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does mean a lot to me. Apart from that, like I mentioned, there's going to be a lot of good content coming your way this weekend. So a lot to look forward to. So I hope you all will enjoy it. And without further ado, until next time, this is Ash. I'll talk to you all later.